Hey everybody again. Here I am 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 again. Woohoo. Sorry. I was just being silly. So I gotta share this. All right. All right. So as I continue, so Pluto in the fourth house can also make you to be somebody that has been either their parents were very controlling, being in a very strict home, a home that was either all or nothing, some way in form or fashion. Now, I can tell you what I've experienced with persons that had Pluto in the fourth house. They would have experienced an older person dying in their home, or having one of their parents die in their home. Now, I use the word die because I want you to understand. Oh yes, you are Pluto in the fourth house. Yeah, so Pluto in the fourth house can bring death inside your home, some sort of transformation in your physical home. And with Pluto in the fourth house, this also means that why you say, oh no, Sheena? Death is a natural process of life. So fourth house Pluto can also make you somebody. Yeah, that's sorry about that. That's very unfortunate. Pluto can also be a place that you struggle for power, which means that your home, and you're in your home, you normally like to control things. Pluto is where you seek a sense of control, if not channeled in the very much best way. It can be or feel like a sense like you're trying to control. So I can imagine what you go through, Ambi, with your Pluto in your fourth house of, going through bouts of having to, no, I like it this way. No, cook. I'm gonna cook. No, don't do this. I can wash all the clothes. No, don't do that. No, you know what? Put the seat down. No. Because that fourth house Pluto, your home seems to be a sense of needing to be controlled. And what Pluto brings there is a sense of a lack or fear. Pluto brings the energy of fear as well. Fear of not having a home. Pluto in the second house, the fear of not being able to have assets or money. Pluto in the third house, a fear of not being able to communicate or speak in the way or get your word across or know things. The fear of not knowing. Like me, I got the fear of not knowing. This is why I go deep into astrology. So Pluto brings that sense. Pluto could also be the reason why you get locked up. Get locked up, they won't let me out. They won't let me. Oh, sorry. So Pluto in yeah, that's only because you're a Gemini, y'all know the. But that's another issue. You have fear of not knowing. Maybe that's because of your progress chart. If you look at your progress chart, you'd see that your Pluto is probably sitting inside your third house. Hey, it is what it is. So Pluto in the fourth house can bring a whole set of transformation, a lot of change from the home. As a matter of fact, it can psychologically change you completely. Whatever happened in the home has literally transformed you and changed you into who you are. It's the same way with money, the second house. Whatever has happened with your money and assets have changed that person automatically. Their life just totally changed. It's the same way with the third house, with information and knowledge and knowing. It has changed their life completely. What happened? I am trying to initiate it. Okay, I'm moving on to the fifth house. So Pluto in the fifth house. What is the fifth house? The fifth house is the house of romances, gaming, which is speculation, like gambling. It rules your children. It rules the sense of fun, your creative endeavors, things that you just do for fun. Romance, which also includes sex as well, as so the eighth house. But sex house for the sense of fun and not for the eighth house. How the sex is for deep penetration, connecting with the soul. So Pluto in the fifth house. Pluto brings a sense of control. Needing control over your kids, needing control over your romances, needing control over gambling, being addicted to gambling, needing to either doing it or not doing it at all. Pluto in the fifth house can make you a powerful sex partner. Also, it could mean that if it's according to where the planet is sitting, one of your kids, where they're sitting the first planet, be a very, very powerful person. Pluto in the fifth house can make you very secretive of your romances, things you find fun. Pluto in the fifth house can also have you to like things that are dangerous. You find stuff like skydiving, motorcycle riding, things that bring a sense of adrenaline to your body. Yes, oh yeah, like them quiet freaks, definitely. So Pluto in the fifth house would literally bring that. It can also mean that your children will bring a sense of transformation. When your child is born, your life completely changed. You ever see those persons who, the minute they have a child, their whole physical body is totally changed? You be like, oh, why you look like that? I have like 5 kids, but I don't look like you. You have like one kid in your belly like this, your face felt like that, and then you're looking like, oompa loompa, what's going on with you? Maybe they have Pluto sitting in the fifth house. I don't know, I'm not saying that everybody that has changed physically after having a kid has Pluto in the fifth house. But it's most likely that they could have their fifth house ruler conjunct Pluto. But that's when we get into another semester, you can understand that. So Pluto in the fifth house. Let's look at somebody. Well, first off, we didn't look at anybody who has Pluto in the fourth house. And we're going to look at that right now. And you have 15 more minutes. So, you're right. So, I'm going to look at somebody who has Pluto in the fourth house. Kanye West has Pluto in the fourth house. Mark Zuckerberg has Pluto in the third house. Third house, Pluto. Third house is communication. Pluto is a sense of control, all or nothing. With Mark Zuckerberg, Pluto in the third house, it means that he literally controls a sector of communication, some way, form, or fashion. What he says goes. We're moving from the third house to the fourth house. Kanye West's mom, Her death literally changed his life. He finds it very, very hard to move on from that experience, and it literally changed his life. He is very controlling when it comes to his home. Don't like anybody doing otherwise. Pluto in the 5th house, as we're moving on, let me give you an example of that. Yeah, she did die in the house. I remember that. See that? One thing with you, Sheena, boy, you be on it. So let me give you all a really good one. Somebody who has Pluto in the 5th house. All right. So Halle Berry has Pluto in the 5th house. Who else has Pluto in the 5th house? Adele has Pluto in the 5th house. And it's in the sign of Scorpio. Let's look at that. Who's more secretive than Adele when it comes to loving? Does she have any kids? Do we even know if she has kids? You know, let's take a look. Okay, Adele. Oh. So she has one son. And she's married to... Find us real quick. So she has one kid. His name is Angelo Adkins. This is one child you don't never hear from. But realize how our Pluto in the 5th house also brings her a sense of when she creates her songs. It's powerful. Well, Halle Berry has Pluto in the 5th house and not the 4th. So she loses all of her kids. So her battle is with children. Wow. Also, if you didn't know, Pluto is also your karmic debt, as with Saturn. Now, Saturn is your individual karmic debt. Pluto is the karmic debt that you have in connection with people. I swear she should wait for DMZ for real. Let me give you another person that has Pluto in the 5th house. Let's see now. This is saying that LeBron James has Pluto in the fifth house. I can believe that. He's a powerful basketball player. But I won't stop there and use that. I'm going to look at somebody else. Michael Phelps have Pluto in the fifth house. I don't like to be in people's business. That's a good one. Another person that has Pluto in the fifth house is Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre has Pluto in the fifth house. Believe it or not. We're just giving you just little examples of Pluto in the fifth house and how what happens. Lady Gaga has Pluto in the fifth house. So take in mind that all these people could be very, very good with sex. Sorry, I just had to say it. Did you hear me? I hope you didn't hear me. We're going to move on to to Pluto in the sixth house, which is the last one for the night. Sheena, you are priceless, I swear. So he used to try to control his romances and beat up on the person that he's in a relationship with, is what you're saying. I believe Halle Berry used to do the exact same thing. Sorry to say. Well, we're going to name some people who has Pluto in the sixth house. We have Michael Jackson, Amy Whitehouse, Miley Cyrus. This list isn't sounding very good. How you know that? Butterfly. Sigmund Freud. She knew you good. Sigmund Freud also had Pluto in the sixth house. Remember now, Pluto also deals with the deaf, which also means psychology. And Sigmund Freud is a good example of Pluto in the sixth house. He also is a Scorpio rising. Let me give you some other examples. Let's look at these people. Michael Jackson. What? Oh yeah, that's true. All they say live in Hollywood. That's true. That's true. You're right. You're right. You're right. Pluto and Michael Jackson's sixth house. Michael Jackson was known to be somebody who could be very controlling when it comes to the work area. He liked things done a certain way. We all know that medicine is, or what they would say, was the reason behind his death. Yeah. What is the sixth house? The sixth house is the house of health, the house of work and service, the house of pets. But Pluto in the sixth house can bring a sense of control when it comes to your work area. You want to be the boss. You want to be the secure. You don't want nobody telling you what to do, but you end up being in the sense of control. You either be controlled by your bosses or your coworkers, or you end up on top. You either build up and go so long on this job, and all of a sudden the job just disappears. You don't have the job anymore. You just fired from the job. And you start a cycle over again. And this is the cycle of all the planet of Pluto in all those houses. It just builds up and destroys. Builds up, destroys. Builds up, destroys. But in that destruction, I want you to understand that there is a silver lining. You get to see that there is change in almost everything. Sometimes holding on to things more than you should can be a problem. Anything in excess can be a problem. And Pluto comes to show you that even though you could be to the ashes, you could rise from those ashes like a phoenix. So like, let's give example for Ami. Ami's mom may have died when she was younger. But she will strive and want to strive to be a mom, or even a more stronger and better mom than her mom. I'm talking about rising like a phoenix. The same way with my Pluto sitting in the third house. With my Pluto sitting in the third house, I may be somebody who, you know, might not have felt as if they were somebody that could go on the internet or even start a YouTube channel or even do stuff like post stuff on Facebook and people just answer like by the hundreds. You know, I watch and witness, you know, my siblings not really focusing on their purpose. And I'm like, I'm going to do better than that. I'm going to rise. I'm going to be the one to rise. And that is how Pluto sitting in these houses are. They help you to rise above. Yeah. Yeah, like being self-conscious. And literally putting more focus and emphasis into being better in that area. So Pluto does that. It's the same way how Michael Jackson was a workaholic. He felt as if, yeah, my siblings, and they were too lackadaisious, but me, I want to put in the detail, the fine in the detail of things, because, his Pluto sitting in the sign of Virgo had him to be like, you know what, I need just like this, just like this, just like this, just like this, just like this. I need to go like this. And he was very much controlling on the set. People who have Pluto in the 6th house would be like that. But they rise. They rise higher than most people that are connected to them. Yeah, he was a perfectionist, of course, he was. But Pluto is where you rise to the top. Two y'all saying the same thing. Well, he was a perfectionist, yes. Pluto itself doesn't bring that perfectionism. What it brings is the sense of fear. So, I do this because I fear that. But see, this is where fear still has a good to it. Because you're still going towards that goal. Bill Gates had the fear of being poor. Pluto sitting in the 2nd house. People who have Pluto in the 1st house feel as if they're nobody. Their physical body isn't as good as they'd like for it to be, so they strive to be in physical shape and health. 5th house, the same thing. They strive to be the best lovers. Why? Because, They strive to have control over their kids. Pluto does that. Pluto rises you from the ashes, especially if you focus on that. If you have negative aspects to that planet, the best thing to do is, like how you guys are learning astrology, it gives you the tool to not be pulled down when Pluto when Pluto reigns. You're able to accept, rise above, and conquer. Yes. You mean in Michael Jackson? He didn't really want to. Well, that could be with Pluto in the first house as well. Always want to change. You'd be surprised at what Beyonce and Jay-Z just do when it comes to plastic surgery. We don't know what they do. They may probably be doing stem cell. Who knows? We won't ever know that. For the night, that concludes Pluto in the houses. We're going to take over tomorrow with Pluto going from the 7th to the 12th. I hope it was very informative. And if you want to, you can do your own research. And what I do is I do it from a psychological base. Oh, you could go even further. There's many places I could teach you a little bit more. Yeah, there is a lot of secrecy between the both of them, individually and as a couple. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you for tuning in, even for the ones that tune in a little bit late. Glad that you tune in. Have a wonderful night. God bless you, class. Oh, first off, before you go, page 75. I need you to fill out and do page 75. I've yet to find any homework in my email. But I want y'all to know. When it comes to this certification, I'm going to need all my homework. All. Have a nice night.